Oh, right. Oh, there it is. Came out of nowhere. I probably got a little bit of that on there too. All right, everybody. I am so excited today. We have three rock stars, one from each state. We have Leslie Carver, we have Dina Anderson, and we have Jay Pierce on the lead panel. Try to contain yourself, studio audience, please. Contain yourself. All right. So let's start. Let's go right down the line. Let's start with Leslie Carver from Nevada. Tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this wonderful thing, all that good stuff, Leslie, please.
I'm from Las Vegas, Henderson office. I've been in the business 28 years, the same company all 28 years. And my husband and I are partners. He joined me about 25 years ago. I have three buyer's agents. One's been with me 21 years. Two have been with me like 14 years.
Right. And you know what I just realized too is I've coached every one of you at one time, some of you currently, some of you, even Leslie back in Mike Ferry days as well. By the way, I have to vouch for her husband. He has one really good hairdo. I'm just going to tell you.
Same as yours.
It's
He
just
has a
like mine.
beard now, though.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's good. I like it. All right. Awesome, Leslie. Really appreciate that. All right, Dina, how about you? Dina is from Rancho Cucamonga.
That's true, California, and I have lived in Rancho since I was 9, but full-time at Berkshire Hathaway for 3 years. I do have a consumer finance background, and yeah, loving it here in Rancho. The weather's nice, so we're enjoying that.
I finally realized why they call it Rancho and not Rancho Cucamonga because it sounds better when you just say I'm from Rancho.
It's just easier. It's
Yes.
easier.
All right, awesome, Dina. Thank you. And Jay Pierce from lovely Arizona, Scottsdale. Tell us a little about yourself, my man.
Yeah, been in the business now going on 6 years, so I'm still fresh, learning so much and growing. I run a small team here, about 4 agents, and just been growing and building from there. It's been really, really good though. It's been really fun. And yes, Rick, you've been on my coaching calls since I started, so I appreciate you. You've always held me accountable and told me what to get out there and do.
A lot of people don't know this, but Jay used to be in the music business. I even dissected a few of his tunes, which were quite impressive, I would say.
It wasn't too bad, I
They're
could put
good.
some words
They're
together.
good. They're good. I think they're really good. All right, cool. All right, welcome everybody. Well, let's get right into it. Let's start with you, Leslie. She is definitely the most, I'm not going to say senior, but she's the most experienced of the group. Right, I'm the oldest one here. But you tell us a little about like how you do your business, what your goals are, all that good stuff, please.
So, you know the story. I've transitioned my business several times over the years. I got into bank foreclosures right away before anybody was doing them. And then once those kind of started slowing down, transitioned, doing a ton of short sales, teaching CE classes at our board with short sales. Then transitioned doing Mike Ferry for 8 years, literally calling expireds every morning for 8 years. Then transitioned to Brian Buffini and did that for 6 years. And now we're really transitioning into luxury. We've really kind of made that our goal this year. So we increased our average commission, doubled it this year, and working on that and some other things.
All right. I love it. I love it too. So yeah, and maybe tell them a little about your team too, like who's on it and what they do, please.
Sure. So I have two amazing licensed assistants that really help. And we divide it out like we say, everybody's like the best at their slice of the pie. So I'm really good at taking listings, communicating with my clients. And then I have a listing coordinator that once we list, she helps with the marketing and some of the additional communication, and an escrow coordinator. My husband does a lot of the marketing, communicating with clients, and then the three buyers agents.
I love it. I love it. Yep. Good. Awesome. And she's always in the top of her office, both teams and so forth, every single year. Thank you, Leslie. And then we have Dina, who was rookie of the year, right? She's newer. She's killing it, doing incredibly well. Tell us a little about your business, Dina, too, and how you're doing it.
Yeah, thank you. Differently from the other two on the panel today, I'm a solo agent, and so I do a lot of the things myself, but I do have a TC who helps me on a lot of the transactional stuff, obviously. But from when I first started, Brock, our manager, has been instrumental in helping me along the way, learning all the contracts and things that I need to know. And so I have a great background in that as far as starting off. And when I first started, I had a couple of first-time buyers that right out of the chute when I first joined, literally 3 years ago yesterday, during a very difficult, low inventory, competitive market. So I gained a lot of experience and confidence ultimately from working with those buyers in that challenging market, but getting them into their homes. And so I had a lot of background in getting that up and running, but now I use a TC so I can continue focusing on a lot of other aspects of my business. And I love helping sellers too, helping them prepare and present their home to the market. I literally I love that part of it, is helping sellers and guide them through, presenting their property to the best light and getting as many eyes on it as possible. So just loving it here. So
Yeah, you jumped right in and you came out of you hit the ground running. And I'll tell everybody this. She's not afraid to get out there and door knock. She takes listings and she notifies the whole neighborhood, goes out there, invites the whole neighborhood to the open houses. Once they sell, she goes back out and does it. And also, one of the things that I think you're doing really well is your social media. Tell them a little about, like, I love the one with you and your husband dancing at the open house, and you do all kinds of great stuff on social media, which is really helpful, isn't it?
thank you. Yes, it is. And in fact, my husband told me from the beginning when I first decided to jump in that social media was going to be, I knew that social media was going to play a big part in how I market to people, because I was taking a break from the marketplace, raising my kids and following them with all the activities from, PTA, room mom, baseball, water polo activities, church and all that, but diving back in full time, and providing the level of service that I want to provide to my clients, I knew I had to get it out to the masses. So my husband says my sphere was activated because I had the courage to go into social media right from the start, literally day one, and I have fun with it. I'm not afraid to be myself authentically. Kind of whether it's funny or serious or doing education or just simple, just listed and sold. But you're right, I do have some fun with social media, and I've had some success with it too. I've had people call me just out of the blue or send me a DM just saying, hey, I saw your reel and I was sitting there thinking about what I was going to do, and I just saw your reel at the right time. I want you to come sell my house. And so, it works. And I've had even people call me and say, hey, I saw your post and on this new property that you're listing, and it had only been on the MLS one day, and she wanted to come see the house. Didn't even have an open house time yet, and I ended up selling it to that particular person who I didn't know at the time. So social media does play a big part in my business, and it's proven to be a successful part of it. But yeah, I do get out there and knock doors and do all the marketing, the print marketing for my properties. When I go live on a property, I'll do it just listed, I'll do an escrow, I'll do sold, and then another postcard after that in the surrounding areas. And that's one of the reasons why I was successful in the very beginning too with my first listing. So
Yeah. Well, it's like all three of you, like Leslie's been doing it the longest and she's been through the whole gamut. She's done all the different types of prospecting. Matter of fact, I have a good question for you, Leslie, after we ask Jay. But one of the things as a coach, I've been doing this for 39 years. I've been coaching for 26 now. And when someone jumps in and does it right from the beginning, like you, and has the success, it's like, okay, see, if you do it this way. And Jay, you're the same. Thank you, Dina. Jay, you're the same way. You're out there. You're on the phone. You're getting it done right from the beginning. So tell us a little about your business, please.
Yeah, literally that was a big start for me. Was cold calling expireds. I remember getting my license, and you get your license, and then you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? So I would do 2 open houses on Saturday, 2 open houses on Sunday, and in between time, if there was no one there, I started using the house as my personal office, and I would cold call, and I used to find enjoyment out of it just to see how I can get someone to engage with me. So when I would call someone and they were upset, as soon as they said, "All you agents are the same," I was like, "Oh, I got him. I got them." So there was a few times, those were some of my favorite clients. I'll say, granted, while headaches, once you convert those, it feels really, really good and rewarding. But for me, with transitioning into business was I started to build, relationships with investors as well. I would cold call investors. There was a property I remember we were trying to sell that I knew was going to go to an investor, and I pulled up all the investors in that area that had bought or sold a property recently, and cold call all of them and tried to see if I can get them to that property. Long story short, I didn't end up getting one for that property. Someone else got it, but built relationships with certain investors. And now I have a lot of things now that I've been doing. I have a few duplexes and multifamilies that's under contract. Just being able to, I mean, you have to go out there and hunt for business differently now. I always tell you about Philip back here. My line,
Yeah.
you have to figure out different ways to hunt. So for me, it slowed down a little bit in second quarter. So I had to find out ways to create business. And one way that I was doing that was I was literally looking for multifamilies, properties that had decent cap rates that I knew investors, wanted to put money into, or they would come in and, hey, if it's already rented, perfect. So I mean, I sit for hours in the office sometimes running cap rate on multiple properties to see which ones will work, because I've built certain relationships with investors now that, hey, if the cap rate is X, they're willing to move on it. And that's helped me continue to grow my business. And I will say, a lot of people, my social media now, people have been reaching out to me to find out, how can I get a duplex, or how can I get a triplex or a fourplex, and kind of teaching them different financing options that can go with that. A lot of people didn't know you can do an FHA on, up to 4 units.
Up to minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and as of right now, you can go up to $1 million on that and put as low as 3.5% down. And there's a lot of buyers that just don't know that. So it's helped me kind of start to carve out a specific niche here.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And your knowledge. You just move a little bit so they can see all of Philip.
Oh, they want to see Philip.
He's a lion, just so everybody knows.
Yes.
Right. I love it. I love it, because you got to, you eat what you kill, and it's kind of a graphic example, but it's true. You have to go
Yes.
out and get it, drag it that's the lead follow up, and and that's how you do the business, no doubt. I love your analogy. It's great. All right, now my next question, and I think I'm going to ask you all different questions. So Leslie, I want to ask you a question that you brought up earlier about because like back in the Mike Ferry days, in the early, what was it, like early 2000s, you were ahead of the curve when it came to the REOs. You were ahead of the curve when it came to the short sales, which really should be called long sales, and you got back into the business traditionally before, okay, you really needed to. So that's why I think you've grown your business as well as you have, because you're always a little ahead of the curve. So my question to you is, any curves you see coming?
Yes.
Let's hear it. Come on, let's hear it.
I'm really working on YouTube right now. I think that YouTube's a big deal, and I've really put some things in. I've only been doing it for about 8 months, but I'm seeing the payoff already. And I think that really it opens so many more doors already that I see, oh, this is going to flow into more that I can do with my listings. This is going to flow into not just lead generation. I like social media, and I am going to start tailoring some of that back, but YouTube, the benefit of YouTube, social media is a lot of other realtors. It's a lot of other, those kind of clients. But YouTube, when someone's looking for a real estate agent or, a store, you Google, you don't go on social media. So I really see that as the next.
Yeah, and Google goes right to YouTube, which is true. That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I get more views on because I do the same video for all my 6 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And my YouTube Shorts, it's funny you mentioned that, because my YouTube Shorts gets the most views, actually, by far.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. YouTube Shorts. And I've already gotten 4 leads off it. It's been 8 months. So, it's just starting to really see the momentum build. But I've literally got 4 leads on the neighborhood I want to be working in. You know, one's closed, one is out looking, and 2 we'll see.
Cool.
And
And how?
that's leads. I have, because we also put the YouTube videos on my website, we're seeing a lot of indirect traffic as well.
That's great. What a great point. I love that. I love that too. What about, and how is the high end in Las Vegas doing right now? Is it still moving quite well?
That's one of the few markets that is doing well. So we kind of, that was a second thing we transitioned to. Not that I see that as the big thing, just that we want to move into luxury, kind of seemed like the next thing. So within the neighborhood we farm, we have 4 closings this year from that. We started a farm in a luxury, had 4 closings, have 1 in escrow, have 1 listed. So that will be at least 6 this year.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good job. All right, cool. Thank you, Leslie. All right, Dina, same question. Well, different question for you, which is but kind of the same thing, but different. Is anything new you're thinking about? You've got your feet under yourself now. You got consistent results happening. What's next for you, or are you just going to keep doing the same thing?
Since I've been finding a lot of success with what I've been doing, I'm just kind of doubling down on that, just making sure that I'm following all my, processes and schedules and sticking to more of a timeline. Being a solo agent, doing a lot of these things on my own, I'm trying to figure out how to branch out to, for help in certain areas. Not so much having a team necessarily of, buyer's agents, and that kind of thing, but so much as like the day-to-day tasks. I love talking to people. I love helping people. So I really am still very involved in that part of it, and I love that. So I'm going to continue, making calls and talking to people, networking. I'd like to see myself branch out a little bit more in other farm areas that I want to consistently market to. So I'm setting myself up for that. That's just something a little bit different, not just my normal direct marketing for listings and pending sales and closures, but just to market certain farm areas that where I've had some success and they've seen, the neighbors have seen transactions close by me, but and kind of like Leslie, moving into maybe a more luxury market. I've had a lot of success with some of the luxury properties here in Rancho Cucamonga. I want to continue with that. So, but it's nice to have a variety of price points too, because we're finding too that the more affordable price points are moving a little bit quicker. It kind of depends on the property itself too, but excuse me.
And I think it's because maybe I'm wrong, Leslie, but I think it's because they're less affected by the interest rates too, right? A lot of times they pay, right?
It seems like it. I mean, if you look at, obviously the supply is increasing just like every other price range, but it does seem like that is a market where we're still seeing a good amount of sales. And I think it probably is because it's not tied to interest rates.
Yeah, and if you ever want to read about the numbers, read Forrest's blog, okay? Because he has all the good numbers in there, and
I read it every month.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing what kind of information's in there too. So, yeah, Dina, and Dina, don't forget. Coaching moment. Don't forget about the areas we were talking about running those expires from January to June too of this year, because I'm telling you, there's gold.
Gold
in them. Yes. I know Leslie's going, he always says that. It's true. I do always say that. All right, Jay, how about you? Anything new you're implementing or doubling down, or what are you going to do?
Actually, double down on what Leslie was saying. It was something that I had learned about more, getting in more to YouTube, because I went to a training, actually. I think I want to say it was Tom Ferry. And they were speaking more about kind of Google and how, how Google ads work, and how, it's a search engine, and any videos that you have on YouTube, because Google owns YouTube, how that all kind of works into play. So definitely have been trying to lock in and really focus on that. I've started really pushing with my farms. I remember talking to you about that. So now my farms are getting more consistent, starting to get some more follow up and reach back from that, which has been fun. And one thing I kind of even wanted to touch on as well, with you guys were mentioning about like the luxury market. What I realize is a lot of people with the luxury market have been pulling their money from the stock market and putting it into separate investments.
Right.
Separate investment that they've been putting it into has been real estate. One thing, like I said, one thing that I've learned from the people that I've been getting coming here is actually California, Nevada, and Arizona. Probably you're going to be we're probably all in top 5 best weather all year round.
Yeah.
Vegas is now going to have all the major sports teams really soon. California has all of them. We have all of them. And so it's always a great destination when that weather starts to get good. So
Yeah.
I've definitely seen a lot of people that will move here for outside of jobbing markets, but just into we want to enjoy that weather. So we get a lot. I get a lot of my clients now have been people buying secondary properties here from the colder states, Washington, Oregon, Boston, but Washington very heavy.
Yeah. Lot of people coming from all over the place, especially and Dina really needs this. Her market really needs those people moving out of the state, which California's even now. Just as many people moving out. You guys need
I've
inventory,
sent a few.
the buyers, so it's a perfect relationship, right?
Yes, yes. If you guys have any buyers or sellers out here, I pay great referral fees, just so you know.
Look at him, he's selling. I love it. All right, I love it. Thank you. Yeah, no, all true. And the thing is that's why it's such a great. We think about this, and Leslie, you can definitely. I would assume you would agree with this for sure. Is there's never been a time in the history of real estate where things are quite unique, meaning transactions have gone down the last 2 years. I mean, they're still good, but they've gone down compared to 2021, 2022. But appreciation is still going up. The stock market is loaded with people with money, right? It continues to go up. It hasn't gone up as well in the last 3-4 years, but it definitely still has gone up. So you have people with money, equity in their properties. The only thing that's slowing it down slightly is the interest rates. And right after this call, soon after this call, we're going to get the notice. Hopefully it's 0.5, but we're going to have a rate reduction. So really, I mean, I don't know about you, but this could be lining up a perfect storm for years to come. And we have an election coming so that could have something to do with it for sure. But we could be lining up here a good little run with everything that we have, in the bank. Would you agree, Leslie?
Yeah, you know what? One of the things that I did want to put out there today is, one of the keys, I think, is just having a strong mindset. Focus on your daily, mindset, gratitudes. Having been in the business a long time, I've seen with all the bank foreclosures, all the agents thought, oh, the market's going to, agents aren't going to be around anymore. That when auctions came into the business and started doing all these auctions, there was all this talk of agents aren't going to be around anymore. Don't focus on the changes that have happened with real estate in general. It doesn't matter. We've seen other things. If something changes in our market, we'll take it one step at a time. But right now you can focus on how you can better serve your clients. You can focus on keeping a strong mindset. And one of the things I said, even when COVID came out, I really said, I'm going to look for opportunities. The good agents, even if the market does transition, like bank foreclosures, like short sales, those agents will transition with the market and come out ahead. So focus on how you can succeed and find opportunities in any market.
I love it.
I love that.
Mindset. So my next question was going to be, tell me your top 3 things to be successful, but you kind of went, so mindset, always look for the opportunities. Do you want to add a third? Anything like to be successful in today's world?
It definitely just gratitudes.
All right. So I had the attitude of gratitude. I love it. All right. So sorry, Jay. We'll let the women go first. All right, Dina. How about you? Top 3 things to be successful in today's business, in today's world.
Top 3 things I'd say is focus on people. So that's my number one. Always focusing on people. And I feel like if we take care of our people, advocate for them, do our very best in our fiduciary responsibility that we have, and I feel like the rest will follow. But also keeping schedules and also knowing contracts. I think that's a huge thing for agents, is to know the contracts, to read them over, even if you're not currently in a contract or haven't had a contract recently, read them, know them. It helps us negotiate better for our clients. And so every time we go through a contract and something changes, to Leslie's point, with all these changes and stuff that are going on in the industry, it's just a contract. It's a new way of doing business. The one thing that we can be sure that's going to be constant is change. And so always just rolling with change and being up on things that are, altered in our industry, just staying on top of those things, I think is crucial. So
Awesome. I
I think,
love it. Go ahead. Are you good?
My
All right.
turn.
Yes,
Jay.
Jay, go ahead. Thank you, Dina.
Yeah.
I honestly, Leslie, I feel like you hit it right on the head. I preach almost every day to new agents, to my agents. Your mental has to be really strong to be into this industry. It is the easiest industry to get into, and it is the easiest industry to get out of. It looks all glitz and glamour, and I will preach that I love it. I love the ups, I love the downs, I love all of it. It is the most stressful, written, anxiety job I've ever had, and I love every minute of it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But my biggest thing is your mental. Make sure your mental's there. You can do everything right for 6 months and have nothing come of that. And right when you're gonna quit is when you start to see your hard work pay off. So stay consistent. Make sure your mental is together, and kind of like Dina's been saying, make sure you have to adapt, because there's always going to be changes in every industry. There's always going to be changes, and the more I'm not even going to lie to you, half the time when we were going through the whole lawsuit, I personally never want to talk about it, because the more I talk about it, everyone's going to be gloom and doom. And guess what? There's been so many changes in real estate, and I'm sure, Leslie, you've seen it, and you're still here. So someone's going to do business. So you can either complain about it, or you can find a way to adapt and get out there and do business. The more you're complaining about it tells me the less time you have to actually work and find a business. You'll always be able to find business. Just you have to be adaptable. And I actually add a fourth thing: get as much knowledge as possible. Get as much knowledge as possible, because like, I've made deals happen because of things that I've learned from training and things like that, being able to bring that to buyers or sellers and say, hey, you know what we could do, or what could work in this scenario. And that's worked wonders for my career, for my reputation, and just helping me grow.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
love it. Go ahead, Dina.
Can I chime into Jay's
Yes.
comment? And I think that's crucial. I love that aspect of it, when we can find other agents that we can collaborate with. A lot of us are competitive people, but to be able to collaborate and have conversations with other agents, like, hey, how did this work for you? Or if you were in this situation, what have you done that's been successful? Or what's turned out negatively? And you can learn from other people's mistakes too. So that's been a big thing for me here in this office too, is being able to talk to other agents, not to mention, of course, Brock, who's been, super helpful, just talking things through and being able to work through different scenarios and talk things out. It's been really helpful. So I definitely encourage that too, Jay.
Love it. Yeah, it's such a bit. You can always get help, especially here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Nevada, Arizona, and California. You can always find.
Cute
You like that?
commercial.
That was my
Cute
DJ.
commercial. Good job.
Right? But okay, and I just want to say, look at and Jay, you kind of hinted on it, but I just want to say, this will be our last question too. Is I'm proud. Not one of you guys brought up all the new buyer broker agreement and what we got to be doing, but I thought, why don't we just answer that quickly? How are you guys adjusting to it? Are you already adjusted to it? Were you already using it so it didn't really make a difference for you? How about you, Leslie?
Well, I, mostly only represent sellers, but for my buyer's agents, I put together a really awesome book that really is like they can go in and talk to clients. And we just focused on strong mindset. Don't get caught up on what you think they're going to respond to. Just go in that this is how we do it. And here's why we're great. And here's the information about us. We've been pretty successful. My girls have all top agents that have been with me a long time. So they're going to thrive in this market. And that's what we've been focusing on, differentiating ourselves from others, showing the value.
I love it. Yeah, it's so true. And when you're a professional, I actually know two agents who have left the business because of this. It's crazy if you think about it. That's it. I'm done. This is a sign. I'm like, a form. It's a form. That's all
Right.
Did
it
they
is.
sell their book of business? Can we pick up that book of business? I'll pay
Good,
them for it.
good question.
I'll give
One
them a referral fee.
I'll ask her. One of them actually is in Arizona, and one of them was in Nevada. And I'm like, I was shocked by the comment. It's like floored me. But all right, awesome, Leslie. How about you, Dina?
Similarly, I've been implementing the buyer broker agreement with some buyers already from the start, but before even the change. So not necessarily so new to me. And then my most recent sellers, we already had talked about, the things that were happening in the news. And again, it goes back to talking to your clients, educating them on the process and what you're going to do for them. Your value obviously is what you're going to present to your client. And no, I'm not afraid of change. I feel like you said, Rick, it's a form, it's a contract. So read the contract and know how we can better position our clients to win. And that's the ultimate goal, is to have, a win for our client, whether they're a seller or a buyer. And so educating them along the way and doing all the things that we need to do to make sure that they,
Yeah.
they do win. So
It's funny because they won't let me do the contracts class because people will ask me that question. They'll say, "Hey, what do you think? What would you do?" And I go, "Well, it's very simple. There's this form, right? And it has a whole bunch of words on it, but then there's some blank areas. You put the pertinent stuff in there. That's what I would do. It's really that
yeah,
simple, right?
yeah,
So that's why Forrest won't let me teach the contract class because that's the way I teach it. It's already written by a lawyer. Why would you even think about it? You put their name, their address, brief description of the product. It's really not that complicated. Now, I've been doing this since before. I got my license in '85, and I've been doing it since before buyer broker even existed. Remember caveat emptor, buyer
mm,
beware. Think about it. Early on in my career, you were the agent to the seller or the sub agent to the seller. Nobody worked for the buyer. It was stupid. It was really bad, right? But that's how it was at first. Didn't come out till my ninth or 10th year in the business. And when it came out, I was like, this makes perfect sense. Now you have representation here. The part that always cracked me up was I'm selling someone's house, and then I'm selling them a house. I make them homeless. I sell their home. Now I'm selling them a new home, and they're a customer. I mean, they're a client as my listing agent, and then they get demoted to a customer for the next transaction. No, get the buyer broker agreement signed. Keep the chain of, it makes perfect sense to keep that fiduciary. It always made sense to me. So when it came out, it's like, to me, it was shocking that it took 30 years from 94 to 2024 to actually make it mandatory. I'm actually shocked it took this long. What about you, Jay? Are you adjusting to it okay? Or you were using it before?
I love it. I love it. I starting out in the industry, I remember this hurting like ever. I get a client, I'm starting to build my business. I got something in escrow. I get a referral from a client. And mind you, I'm 6 months in, and I go meet with this kid, and boom, I meet with him. I go show him some properties. I don't have him sign a buyer broker agreement. He ends up writing a contract with a guy from an open house or a guy that he met just because, he met him there. The one thing I learned from that was buyer broker agreement. Always lock that in. So now you're telling me that legally, we have to have that agreement. Whenever I meet with people for buyers consultations now, I'll have them come to the office wherever they feel comfortable, and I put that in front of them. I actually print it out. I hand them a pen, give them a really nice pen. We sit in their office, and I say, look, now if you don't like me, that's completely fine. I completely understand. But if you would like to hire me to work for you, I need you to put that on paper. I need you to know. I don't want to be out here working and doing all this if you're not committed to me. I'm gonna do everything I can for you, and I need the same here. Boom. And I get them to sign it from there. I go over kind of how many bananas or apples I I will go for them from there. And then I always say my job is to go and negotiate that. So now
mm,
before, if the listing commission was 1%, I'm sorry, the bananas was one, that wasn't even anything we can talk about. So now I can go and have the conversation with Leslie and say, hey Leslie, look, I have a buyer who's willing to buy your property. Okay. This is the offer we're submitting, and this is how many bananas I would like to have. And then now Leslie can go back, to her sellers and say, hey, This is what we have at the table. This is what you'll net. And I mean, it ends up being the same thing now. You know how much we were getting in closing costs for, all the stuff now? So it's not much different, to be completely honest with you. I personally like it.
Good.
I do too. I think it ups the game, the level of professionalism in our industry. So let's rise to that occasion and, go forth and do likewise, right? I mean, it's another form that we need to implement, and it's for the protection of our clients, of us, our, companies. So it is what it is. But I think it ups the game of the level of professionalism in the industry. So I think that's a great.
People that can't present it, like Leslie said earlier, her girls, she calls them girls, I'll call them ladies. Her ladies are really, really, really awesome buyer agents. They are. They finish in the top echelon of the company all the time because they sell a bunch of property. They do a great job. I mean, when you're a professional, it separates you. People that don't know how to present are the ones having a problem with this. And I'm sure, Leslie, weren't you on grievance for years?
Yeah, I was chair of grievance. I'm on professional standards now.
Yeah, so you could probably tell us a lot of stories, and I would imagine that everybody's a client now. Everybody's a client is probably going to change that atmosphere a little bit. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the buyer's agent agreement because now you define your worth. You decide what you're going to be paid, not the seller. So if you look at it with the right mindset, you do have to prove your worth. But if you define that in the eyes of the buyer from the beginning, it really doesn't matter what the seller chooses to do or not do.
And it's all in the negotiations, right?
Everything's negotiable. Everything's negotiable. I thought that was always how this was. Everything is negotiable.
It's such an interesting business, isn't it? I mean, you think about it, you're a business owner, you're a solo entrepreneur. I like to say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself with this company, because we have the tools, we have the brand, we have the virtual agent center is incredibly good. And then you go out there and you negotiate your own. If everybody on the planet had to negotiate their worth every day, this would be a different world. Okay?
In every industry.
Exactly. Could you imagine what that would be like? Wow. All right. I think it would be incredible. All right. Any final words? Any of you lovely people want to leave to these lovely people out in Facebook Live land?
To be honest with you, just want to continue to tell everyone to learn and grow. Just focus on the controllables, focus on what you can control, and you'll be fine. You will be fine. Always strengthen your tools, always be in your toolbox, and then, go from there.
And if you have a referral for anywhere in the Scottsdale, Arizona area, Jay Pierce is your man.
Not just Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, Goodyear. I am everywhere in Maricopa County.
Words, by the way, if you guys want to mention. Dina, what areas do you cover?
Rancho Cucamonga and all the surrounding areas. I've had listings 40 miles away. I've had buyers same distance. So I'll travel within reason. But yeah, I have a great referral source too. I've had clients move out of the area to other states, other cities that are considerably a drive. But yeah, definitely love to pay referral fees too. So and reciprocate.
Awesome, Dina. Thank you. And Leslie, how about you? You cover like the big. I love when people say, "Oh, I don't drive." I mean, nowhere in Vegas is far. Whether you're in Henderson, right? You cover all three cities, right?
I work all over the valley, but mostly in Henderson. And I am a luxury collection agent, so anything in the luxury market as well. But I work all price ranges.
Right. So you do.
That's always a good one to say.
Yes.
I do all price range. GED is my new thing. Getting every deal. I do all price ranges. Anywhere, give me a call.
That's right. All right. Well, I just want to say, all three of you, thanks for taking your time out today. I'm sure everybody got a bunch of nuggets. This was completely awesome. I'm going to blast this everywhere, and I'm sure it'll have all kinds of traffic. It will be on my YouTube channel as well, Leslie, so everybody can watch it there too. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Guys have a good one.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.